But let's go real quick. What is this letter? You guys are so good. It's the number 1, but it means 1,000. Okay, it can also mean master. Simply put, because the Aleph is also the first letter of most of God's name, Adonai Elohim, the Aleph by itself represents God. He's the one who goes first, and the Aleph is silent. Now, we talked about the Aleph Tav, and the Aleph is the ox, and the Tav was a cross. So I think it's amazing when you look at the Aleph Tav, it talks about the leader or God being nailed to the cross. Okay, here we are, beit. Everyone say beit. Okay, beit means house. Do you see the big ball in the middle? That big ball, this helps remember, the ball in the middle means it makes the B sound. Now here's how you draw the letter beit. You start where the little yellow circle is, and you just, horizontal and down, and then on the bottom you go across, but notice the bottom extends past the vertical line. That is so important, otherwise you'll get it confused with another Hebrew letter. So that bottom line has to extend past the vertical line a little bit, and of course there's all different kinds of font and how to do that. But beit means what? House, but more than that, it means a home. It means a family. God wanted a family. So one thing to remember, that does not have the little ball in the middle. Therefore, it makes the V sound. I know in Spanish and in Russian, the B and the V can be, the same. Well, to help you remember that it's the V sound, think of a doghouse, and it's the vet, okay? You have to take them to see the vet. So you have the bet, and it's also called the vet. So if it's got a ball in the middle, it's a B sound. If it doesn't, it's the V sound. Okay, it's the number 2. It's called the vet. Now, we're going to go to beit is the beit tav, which means home or house, but you'll notice even that house is in the shape of a house, and everything proceeds from it. So this here, because it has the ball in the middle, is beit, which means what? House. So the letter is also a word. Now, look at this. Here is a little house. Think of a sukkah as a house. And the Lord was born. Now, get a load of this. Anyone know what that word is? Joe better know. It's lechem. And lechem means bread. And so here is the word beit lechem, which means the house of bread. And Yeshua was born in Bethlehem, and so the bread of life comes from the house of bread. You don't even know that if you don't understand the Hebrew. There's so much more that's there. In Psalm 119, I have there, you can see the letter beit on all 3 of those, how it begins. They're all different English words, as you can see in verse 9, 10, and 11. Now in Hebrew, though, every word, every 8 verses begins with the same letter. Okay, so here we have the dot in the middle, and that is the word bo, which means to come. How many of you want Yeshua to bo? Come quickly. Okay, so here's the word bereshit. Does everyone see that? Now, many of the sages wonder, how come the Torah began with this letter? You would think it began with the letter aleph, because that means first, right? Well, they say, which is kind of humorous, that every single one of the letters appeared before God's throne and said, begin with me, begin with me. And he started with Tav, and he went all the way down until he got to the letter beit. And then when he went to aleph, aleph remained silent. Because the aleph is silent. And he decided to go with the letter beit. And why did he go with the letter beit? Beit says, because with me, all of creation will bless you. And the word for bless is Baruch. Okay, so that is the main reason why he ended up choosing the letter beit to begin the Hebrew alphabet. Plus, it's the most powerfully pronounced letter representing the sun. Okay, this is the Av. Now, do you notice Av? Do you see the letter beit there? But it's not a B, it's a V. Because now Abba, daddy, Abba, you can hear it. But Av, which is father, it's the V. So you can have both here. Okay, so that's the word father. And what's the word for son? Ben. Okay, here is Ben. Well, guess what? When you combine the father and the son, you get the word stone, which is Evan. Do you remember the stone the builders rejected? You know why? Because look at this. It's one stone that is made of both the father and the son. The very word stone is made up of the father and the son as one. Okay, so here we go, the father. And if you'll notice, if you're at the aleph, and Hebrew goes this way, who is at the father's right hand? The son, the beit. That's what comes next. Psalm 110:1, the Lord says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool. Now, here's the other thing in Hebrew. Just like we have like a capital N and a small n, they have a handful of letters that also take two different shapes, but it's when it's at the end of the word rather than the beginning of the word. Now, what you see underneath is the letter nun, and it's the shape to the right if it's anywhere but at the end of the word. If it's at the end of the word, it looks like this long stripe. So here is what word? Ben, the beit, the B, and the N. So that is Ben. Now, what is this word? Bana. Do you see the noon? We have the beit and aleph, but I have bana. Did you know bana means to build? Okay? That's what bana, to build. Now, what's this word? Bar. Bar is Aramaic for the word son. Now, the word bar, if you add that letter aleph, you get bara, to create. So here, the bara is the creator, the architect, the maker. That is bara, okay? And bana is, I'll go back, of the builder. So one is the architect, and one is the builder, okay? Now, take a look at this. This is the second word in Genesis 1:1, and what is the word? Bara, which means to create. All right. And if you'll notice, it's also right there at the beginning of the word Breshit. So in the beginning, we have this creator. Well, here's what's or maker, or architect, however you would like to look at that. But look at this. Bana is the builder. Bara is the maker. And Hebrews 11:10, Abraham looked for a city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is God. And guess what? The word Breshit in the beginning in red is the word foundation stone or cornerstone. So here back in Hebrews, whose foundations, okay, and builder and maker are of God.